I'm an extremely big advocate for making it happen, whatever that means. And that led me to want to talk about why I drive a 1997 Town and Country minivan. And it goes beyond the reason of the fact that it's in mint condition. Besides, like, there's a couple things, like I had to staple the ceiling because the lining was coming down, and I didn't want to have to redo the entire ceiling. So there are some things that I have to deal with. It's not a Hellcat, you know what I'm saying? It looks kind of goofy, but I'm not gonna lie, like this all white pearl paint job that I have on here, the original rims, everything with this car has been completely maintained and kept up with since it was bought in the 90s. And I was lucky enough to have my previous vehicle kind of just go out of commission. And I didn't really have a choice. I needed a vehicle. My daughter had just turned 2. I needed to be able to get to work. I lived now back in the Midwest, so I wasn't in LA anymore, like in a city. So I needed to do something. I had no other options. I had no money. And my uncle was able to find a deal from a guy that he knew that owned like a car lot. And, oh, my phone's falling. And they were able to find this vehicle that had been taken care of by a family since it was bought in the 90s. It had less than 120,000 miles on it. I think it has like 130,000 or so miles on it. And this is like my baby. Like, it used to, like, there was a time where I was like, oh, I'm gonna drive another minivan, because another story for another time is like my first car was actually a minivan too, and that was even kind of sentimental. So it hits a little different, but I will tell that story. It's kind of an interesting one. But yeah, this is the second minivan that I've driven. And you know, all of my friends are over here with these really nice cars, these brand new cars. And there's been a ton of times in my life where I felt like I was behind simply because I didn't have those things. It's really weird because those were times where I didn't really have a sense of financial, I was gonna say freedom, but more so I didn't have a sense of financial understanding at all. And it's almost like I wanted these things because of how they looked and because of how other people were reacted to when they had these things, but I didn't care about these things one bit. Like, I never was like excited as a kid to pull up in some new whip. Like, I was not the person to care about stunting or anything like that. But a point that I talk about, very common theme in my videos, is talking about the people around us and how it influences our decisions. So I was definitely falling into that trap a little bit by being influenced by what was around me. And it's safe to say that here I am, like, I've really changed the trajectory of my life when I decided to go full on with my agency, like no other options, right? Like, I haven't been recording music like I normally was. I haven't been focusing on like little side hustles or side jobs. So this is, like I said, this is the first time that I really locked in, and it's also the best that I've been able to do financially. So I've kind of got a little bit of financial literacy under my belt now, because I'm seeing money coming in and then I'm spending just as much to keep the business maintaining, and then being able to put it and divvy it up and put it in different places to inspire growth, essentially, right? But with that though, it's almost like everything is full circle now, because I can more than happily afford a car note for 100%, get an upgrade and just be sitting way more, I was gonna say comfortably, but this is way more comfortable than any like modern cars with those like hard ass seats. Like, this is like original leather. It's worn down. There's been some road trips on it. Like, this is my thing. But I'm not about to nerd out about why I love this car, because I've already kind of been doing that. But I think where I was gonna go with that is I'm now in a place where, since I can afford to maybe take that step, and it's not like this isn't my only option, it makes me appreciate that I've taken this as my only option for so long. And I think that's just because it's hard to adopt the perspective of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's hard to adopt that perspective when life is broke. Like, you don't see it, you don't see anything as like everything needs fixed, is I guess kind of what I'm saying. Like, if life needs fixed, then everything around it needs fixed. Like, and it is interesting and ironic as it kind of is, it is not easy to adopt that perspective unless you finally are at a place of comfort. And I think that just really comes from, I mean, it's almost like the saying of like, money can't buy happiness. And obviously, money can't buy happiness. There are just things money cannot buy. But what it can do is it can put you in a different position to open up to different perspectives, because of like relieving anxieties or certain worries or things that would kind of, I guess, pigeonhole us in the first place. Because yes, more money, more problems, but having an abundance of anything is going to be able to be positively beneficial for whatever needs it, I guess, as long as everything is good, like here and here. I don't know. I hope that makes sense, but it's really crazy because I see a lot of people getting on here talking about like, I'm 25 and I just bought this, and I'm 21 and I just bought my 10th sports car, and I think that's fucking awesome. And to be honest, if I was making $100,000 a month, doing this, doing that, I probably would buy a Lambo truck too. But I'm not there. And I don't know if I'll ever be there. And I don't even know if I get there. I don't know if that's something that I would do, or if that would actually bring me joy. But the point of this whole entire video was just talking about how I feel like it was a sense of character development driving this car, while everybody else around me was upgrading and doing all these things now, doing all these things. And essentially now, we see the world getting kind of crazy, and I have people that I looked up to financially and people that I looked up to career-wise that are now asking me for advice because they don't have any money. And it's because they're paying so much on their rent, and then they're paying so much on their car note, and they're paying so much on insurance, and like all these crazy bills just to look a certain type of way. Like I always have loved clothes. This is just another point that, again, I'll probably get into this on the next video. Maybe that'll be the next reason of what it'll be like, why I only wear secondhand clothes or something. But yeah, everything that I wear is secondhand. Not because I don't want to spend money on clothes. It's because you can find the fly in anything. You make anything fly. You just got to throw it high enough. You feel me? I think fashion, appearance, visual representation, aesthetic, it's all within, right? It's all like an energetic type of thing. And you either have it or you don't. I love this car. Maybe I'll do a full tour. I'm not even sure, but I love my vehicle. I am 29 years old. Yeah, that's why I'm turning 30 this year, and I've never owned a new car. And I used to beat myself up about that. But now I feel like a rare Pokemon, because like here I am, I drive a 1997 car that's almost as old as me, that has less than 150,000 miles on it. Keep it regularly maintained. It has no issues. It has no signs of failing. It's got almost all the original parts, besides just a couple fixes here and there that I did. But yeah, I don't know. Been driving it for about, this will be, I think October will be 3 years I've had this thing in operation. That's really crazy. And we're going to ride it till the wheels fall off. I'm going to push the limits and see if I could do some road trip content this spring with it. See where we can go. I know I'm going to go to New York and go all around the Midwest and just see. But yeah, I hope that somebody watching this that's driving an old car and maybe feels insecure about it, or maybe feels like they need to up the spending because they need to fit in a certain category or something like that. I hope that they watch this video and they're able to feel better about how they're pulling up, because they know where their head is at and they know where their heart is at. But just like my mom always taught me, just like my uncle always said, like, as long as that thing is clean and it's taken care of, and this goes for anything in life, no one can tell you nothing, because you have to make do with what you have. And that is 100,000 times more respectable than someone faking it to make it. Or not even faking it to make it, but that's 1,000 times more respectable than someone faking the funk for no reason.